Alright guys, it's been a good couple of weeks since I've received these arrows. I finally got all the supplies and fletchings, glue, everything I think that I have together that I want to build these as. So I'm going to run through building these as first time building arrows, but we're going to go through it together. I'm really excited for these. Tried to build 2 of these now. I ordered 18 of them total. Tried to build 2 of them. One was a complete fail. The other is okay, but I know I could do better, and I think I can explain that process a lot better with the rest of these, or at least some of these. So again, these are Nimrod archery. These are their YETIs, the YETI version of the Duo Pros, and they're an all white 4mm arrow. So shout out to them guys. Well, I think it's just one guy over there, Quentin at Nimrod Archery. He's a pretty good dude, and happy to support him with these, but looking forward to building my first arrows. Okay, so I want to start by going over the first step I'm going to take, and that first step is I'm going to be weighing all of my components, whether that's the field tips, which I have 2 different ones. These are from Ethics Archery, which is also what the insert-outsert system is all Ethics Archery. But field points, I'm gonna weigh them. I have 100 grain ones. I also have 125 grain ones. Gonna see what the end result is. See if that 25 grains I like it. If I like it to not have it, I'm not sure. But so I'm gonna weigh those field points. I'm also gonna weigh the insert-outsert system. Here, I'll pull this out and show you. These are their countersink system, and the way it works is this is a sleeve, and this is the insert countersink system. The sleeve will go over into the arrow. This will sit in there, and they sit like this. So the arrow will have the sleeve on the outside of it, while also having this internal insert. These are supposed to be 75 grains, but I am gonna weigh each collar or each sleeve, and I'm gonna weigh each post just to get the most average weight I can at the end of these arrows. And then I will also weigh these fletchings. These are tack drivers, 2 1/4, and I really think I'm gonna 4-fletch these. Is there really a reason to 4-fletch them? No, but doing the math on some online calculators, with the 4-fletch, the FOC and the end result should still be like 17.5%, and 15 was really what I was shooting for, but 4-fletch, 17%, I think is gonna be good. The one that I built already that was but I could do better, flies fine. It's a 3-fletch. I don't know. I like the idea of a 4-fletch, so I'm gonna 4-fletch. These are a lower profile, so I don't think there's any vein clearance issues, but I'm gonna weigh these as well. I'm gonna weigh all these components, get them laid out separated so I know what can stack with what, and see you after that. Okay, so as you hopefully saw there, all the sleeves weighed exactly the same. They weighed exactly 15 grains and they had no variance, so all of these, they could be used on any one. Then I did nocks, and the nocks had 2/10 of a grain variant. Well, I guess it was technically 4/10 of a grain variance because they were at 7.2, the majority of them were 7.4, and then there was one that was 7.6. So whatever the lightest arrow ends up being is going to get the heavy knock, whatever, vice versa. And then these posts, they had two different weights. They had 60.2 grains and 60 flat grains. So those are pretty close. Those were split right down the middle. Overall, this is gonna put us right in the middle, having 3 and 3 there, having just one high and one low with the nocks, and having all of the sleeves the exact same. These should end up weighing pretty similar. Time to move on to the veins. Alright, so hopefully as you saw there, the veins were a completely different story than everything else. I had 3.8, 4.2, 4.0, and 4.4 grains. Hopefully I can mix match these so that they stay pretty even. I mean, we are talking 0.2 grains. I think the scale only is accurate to 0.2. I don't think I can outshoot this 0.2 that I'm gonna get different, but if I can, I'm gonna put, since I'm 4-fletching, I'm gonna put, 3.8 together, and then on the other way, I'm gonna put the heavy ones, 4.4 and 4.2 together. So, should stay pretty even and be able to rotate, things like that. I'm gonna try to just make the most even arrow I can. I don't think I can outshoot that difference, but that's the attempt. Alright guys, here is the 3-fletch arrow I had mentioned before. See if I can get a good shot at the 3-fletch. This one, I believe, well, let's see. This one, carbon to carbon, was cut at 26.5 inches. I'm gonna draw back. Maybe you'll be able to see it on my bow. I'm gonna draw back and I wanna show you where it sits to this rest, because I think I can make them maybe even a 1/4 inch shorter. But that's where I'm basing my arrow length off of, is when I draw back as close to this as I can get it. I do think I'm gonna be visiting the shop, archery shop soon, and one, getting new strings, but also getting a new rest. I'm thinking of getting a Hamskea limb-driven rest, just because I've had issues with this one here. The forks are actually starting to come off of, I don't even know how to describe this, starting to come off of this rotating pin, and when it falls, and it's starting to hit my shelf, and it's not hitting it hard, but it does hit it, and over time it backed out, and it has come off on me twice now. So they've even almost like stripped themselves, these screws that hold these forks in. So I've been wanting to try a QAD, or sorry, a Hamskea. This one is a QAD. I've been wanting to try the limb driven, just because something different, something new, but it should line up to about the same spot here. I may just play it safe and cut it at the same 26.5 just to be safe, just in case. But here's where it lines up. See if I can draw this in front of the camera. So that's about where it is. I do think potentially I can drop another 1/4 inch off of there, but I mean, I like the idea of chopping a 1/4 inch off. These arrows are 9.2 grains per inch. So what am I gaining there? I'm gaining maybe 2 grains. So it's half of a fletching, half of one of these fletches, and I mean, maybe that balances me out a little bit more to be a little bit higher FOC. Don't know that it's really worth it in the grand scheme of things, especially if I do decide to run some fixed blade broadheads off of this, because I never got to run, or I never got to shoot anything with the Helix broadheads, so it's gonna keep it out past the shelf there. I might just stick with 26.5, but I am gonna be spinning these arrows, even though I know I'm gonna be cutting off of both ends, just because I want to make sure they're as even as possible. And if I cut off both ends, this label is going to be in the same spot on every arrow, and I'll just think they'll look better if that's the case. So we're going to spin some. I'm going to spin 6 arrows, and then we're going to cut arrows. These all spun pretty good. They are a 001 straightness. I thought they spun pretty good, and I'm still gonna chop it off both sides. There was some that would wobble on the knock end, and there was also some that wobbled on the front end. It seemed to go away if I would, depending on how I set them on the spinner on this Modsaw. So that could be completely user error. Some of them are glass. Some of them spun really, really well. Can I outshoot whether or not they spin perfect? No. So I don't expect them. I don't think any arrow manufacturer, based on the videos I watch, makes a glass arrow every time. But this arrow that I built, I cut this one off on both ends, and this one spins really, really well. So I have the same expectations for these. I'm gonna cut off a little bit on each end just to cut it down to a total of 26.5. Let's see, they are currently looks like 32.5 inches-ish. So if I cut off, let's see, I want to go down a total of 6 inches. If I cut off 3 and 3, should be pretty good. So if I cut it down to, what is that? Cut it down to 29.5, and then cut it down to 26.5. I'm gonna do all the same 29.5 cuts first, and that's just gonna keep them consistent. So depending on where I set this lock at, if I set it wrong the second time, then if I'm switching back and forth, there's more of a chance they're not gonna be the same. But as long as I keep it, do one step, cut them all, and then do another step and cut them all. They should turn out just good. So that's next. Before I go and just time lapse me cutting these arrows, I wanted to explain what I was doing while I cut it and cut the first one on regular speed. So this Modsaw, which I think is awesome, it's got this arrow spinning on it, which you saw before. It's got an arrow square, and then obviously the ability to cut. But they sell two different receivers on the knock end, where you can actually insert a knock, or just this one, which is square. And I have no knock inserted on this arrow. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna butt this all the way up to this corner. I'm gonna turn the saw on. I'm gonna push in and spin towards. According to the videos that I've watched on this, that's the way they do it. So that's how I'm gonna do it here. Just turn the saw on and put the knock in, push it forward, and spin. So now, if I sit this back in there, shouldn't make contact with the saw at all. I tried to spin it as close as possible to this here so that it wasn't bending the arrow while I had it in there. And then at the end, I'll go through and I'll square up each one of these ends. And I have a Sharpie. The Sharpie I'll use to mark it, and then when I square it, if all the Sharpie's gone, that means the end will then be square. So see you on the other side of this time lapse. So this Modsaw actually goes in increments of 1/8 inches. So I did go ahead and cut these 26 3/8 instead of the 26 1/2 that I had originally set. I don't think it should make that much of a difference, but I think if I'm building them and I'm experimenting, I'm going to experiment with that extra 1/8 of an inch. Now to square the ends, I'm going to take these two bearings and I'm going to actually push them as close to the squaring sandpaper as I can. So we're going to put it all up there. That way, as I'm applying pressure, I can apply pressure there and I know that it's spinning straight. But back here, I'm going to move it in a little closer, just so I know it's a little stiffer when I'm applying pressure. So take this first one. I'm going to color over the entire end of it so I know what will have been hit and what will have not been hit. And I will start sanding. Shouldn't take much. Seen people just go kind of like a back and forth, and it seems to do pretty good for them. So we're in. Yep. Got all the paint off that one, and that wasn't a lot. Let's even try to do this one less. Yep. Completely off of there too, so. One down. We'll time lapse the other ones. be to get some Q-tips and clean these out. I've seen people just do it with water. I've actually heard claims of people saying that you don't necessarily want all of the dust and it to be super smooth on the inside of there, to be like super clean, just because then it doesn't have anything to adhere to. But I'm gonna go ahead and clean them out. I'm gonna probably use alcohol. I've seen too many people say to clean them out with alcohol and stuff. Okay, we're on cleaning these out. Got isopropyl alcohol. Just gonna put it on a Q-tip, make sure it's on there pretty good. And then I'm going to just stick it right into the end of the arrow. Give it a little in and out, and you can see that is dirty. It's all black. So do it on that side, and then I'm gonna throw the dry side in there too, just to clean it out a little bit better. And see, there was still even some more dust on there. So that's what I'm gonna do for all of these, and then it'll be time to put some inserts in them. So clean it out both sides, and on to the next. Alright, so now that all the arrows are cleaned, I'm actually going to weigh each arrow, because there might be a difference between them, and if there is, it's going to help balance out these components. But if there's not, I mean, hey, that would be awesome. It'd be great quality control if they're not. So after weighing them, they ended up to be all within 1 grain of each other. The heaviest being 263, the lightest being 261. So if we do that math real quick, we have, okay, gluing these together. After the first one I messed up, I definitely learned a valuable lesson about this stuff. You don't want to do it with the knock in. If you glue with the knock in, it's gonna force so much air that you can't put the insert, outsert, whatever you got, the system you got going on, it's gonna airlock everything in. And you're not gonna be able to push it all the way in. So the first arrow that I ruined was because of that. Now, I'm using this gold tip glue, and it cures pretty fast. So that didn't help my situation either, because as soon as I was getting it on there, I thought I had some time to work with it, and I did not. So that was my first ruined arrow. But this was the other day. I'm still working on these 6. But the one that I actually made and was able to shoot was with the knockout and this glue, and I was able to get that one all the way on. So that's what I'm going to go for today, and we'll see how it goes. Looks like the glue's already coming out of here pretty good. Wipe that off, because I'm not ready for it yet. Whoa, it's like got pressure in there or something. Whoa, bubbles, not good, not what I want. But at least it didn't dry itself out. So we're gonna take one of the lighter arrows that I got, and we're gonna put heavier inserts with it. These are the 60.2 and the sleeve, which the lighter arrow that I got is on this end here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take some of this glue, not a lot of it, but enough of it. I'll make sure my arrow's ready. Make sure my arrow's ready to put this insert on. I'm gonna take this glue, I'm gonna put it on the post. Just making sure I go all the way down the post. And when I slide it on, make sure to spin it as I go. And really make sure it seats all the way down. I'm going to press it on this bench. Seems to be seated. And then I am going to wipe away the extra glue. And make sure it's seated. Just gonna hold it vertical for a little bit, just until I know that it's completely seated. The tolerances should be pretty tight, but you never know if it's gonna go on just a little bit crooked. So just gonna hold it like this for a little bit, and then I'll time lapse the other ones. Okay, so now that these insert-outsert system is glued in, I'm going to go ahead and stick the knock end on. And I'm not going to glue these in. These should fit pretty well. And I'm going to go ahead and weigh each one of these arrows and match up knock weight. So, okay, got all the knocks in now. All the inserts glued in. At this point I can spin these just to see if they spin well, but they spun well before. I'm not going to spin them until after I fletch them. So next part is going to be the fun part, and I'm going to start fletching, and we're going to do 4 fletch with a good helical on them, because I'm going to use this Arizona Easy Fletch with the right helical. So gonna show how that one works. Gonna be using just one at a time, so I'm gonna go with just this cock vane one, and then I'm gonna go click, click, click over 4 clicks, do it again, 4 clicks, do it again, and just keep going. So that's how it's gonna go, and might take a while, so I'll time lapse one of them, and then I probably won't record the rest of them because it's gonna take so long. Okay, so that was the last of my 4 that I'm going to be 4 fletching. So I'm going to pop this off, and to use this you just press it down. It's going to come around the hook, and it'll stay up out of the way. And this is what we got. Here's the 4 fletch. Oh, that's probably better. You can see the helicals, pretty good helical, but It's a final dart. That's what they're gonna look like. Then I'll throw the 100 grain point on the end of there too. And that'll be the full arrow build. So I'm gonna shoot some of these and show you how it goes when I shoot them. So before I finish the building part of this and get on the shooting, I just wanted to spin them. This one that I did already. See, there's no wobble on either end of this. It's a really pretty arrow to me. This outsert and then this point, they match really well together. Both Ethics archery, just flush. It's very clean. I'm gonna go ahead and dab glue on the end of these just to kind of secure them. But overall, this is my build, my arrow build. So it has been a couple weeks, but I'm gonna finally get to shoot these arrows. And check this out. I also got some new strings. Got my bow tuned. My bow is tuned to these arrows, and I gotta do rest. This is the Hamsky Epsilon. So I'm gonna fire some of these arrows, and hopefully I'll get good footage on how they fly. Okay, target is gonna be at 40 yards. I'm gonna try to set the GoPro up right next to where I'm shooting, and we'll see if I get some good shots. Alright, so hopefully you guys were able to see those flew pretty well, and I'm excited to build a lot more of them for the rest of the season. So hopefully we'll get to send one through a turkey, and hopefully this video is helpful for people like me looking for this video when I wanted it. Till the next one.